Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for your kind association. Let's chant our Mangala Charan prayers. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvise Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadādhara Śrīvāsadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So dear devotees, on behalf of our beloved founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, we would like to welcome all of you for session 2 of Bhakti Vaibhava course. In the first session, we discussed the first 3 verses of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and we saw how the first 3 verses, they represent Sambandha, Abhideya, and Prayojan Tattva. The first verse is a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. It describes the potency of Lord Krishna and our relationship to Lord Krishna. The second verse is the description of the glories of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. How Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the topmost Vedic literature. It does not deal with the lower dharmas, dharma, artha, kama, moksha, but it speaks directly about the Pancham Purushartha. Not dharma, not artha, not kama, not moksha, but Pancham Purushartha, which is Krishna Prem. The Purushartha Shiromani, the topmost perfection. There are 4 achievements, 4 goals of human life based on mundane religion. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and ultimately liberation. But Śrīmad Bhāgavatam does not deal with these 4 subjects. It deals with the highest subject, the Pancham Purushartha, the 5th final goal of a human being, and that is Prema Pumarto Mahan, achievement of Krishna Prem. That was described in the second verse. The third verse we saw is an invitation to all of us to come and relish Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And it also talks about Śrīmad Bhāgavatam being the most perfect ripened fruit of the Vedic tree. Nigama means the Vedas. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. Kalpataru means desire tree. Nigama means the Vedic literature. There is a tree of Vedic literature consisting of the 4 Vedas, 108 Puranas. There are Upa Puranas. There are the Itihasas like Ramayana and Mahabharata. And there are 18 Puranas. And there are Samhitas like Garga Samhita. But this whole Vedic tree is a Kalpataru. It's a desire fulfilling tree. Whatever you want, you will get it there. You want something for sense gratification, you will get. You want something for liberation, you will get. You want something for religiosity, you will get. Everything is there. It's a desire fulfilling tree. Nigama kalpataror, but galitam phalam. If you have a mango tree, there are the roots of the mango tree, there is a stem of the mango tree, the bark, the branches, the leaves. But tell me, my dear friends, if you are told, what is the essence of this mango tree? What is it? It is the ripened mango fruits. Yes, ripened mango fruits. So therefore, Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. The fruit of this Vedic literature desire tree is Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. And it has become very sweet because of being touched by the lips of the parrot-like Shukadeva Goswami. That is what we saw in the first session. Now let us go further into the pages of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. So let me share my screen. Hare Krishna, Hare. Yes, Ajay Govind Prabhu, you raised your hand. You can unmute. Yes, Prabhuji.
The session recording, somebody is reminding.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Actually, we are, I think, live also on YouTube. But let me see how I can start recording also. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. So we discussed the first 3 verses. Now let's go to the 4th verse onwards. I hope everybody is able to see the screen. So let me change the settings so that we can see the verse also. And translation. So we saw the 3 verses. And this is the 4th verse. So after discussing the first 3 verses, let's go to the 4th verse of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Now, just to give you an overview, the 4th verse to the next few verses, they are going to describe the place where Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and the circumstances under which Śrīmad Bhāgavatam was spoken. This is like in Bhagavad Gita, what is the first chapter called? Setting the scene. Similarly, the next 4 or 5 verses of the first chapter of the first canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam are called setting the scene. They set the scene for Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to be spoken by Shri Suta Goswami to Shaunak Adi Rishis at Naimisharanya. So let's see what is happening here. In the interest of time, we will not be reading all the verses. So Srila Prabhupada ji is translating 4th verse that once upon a time, at the beginning of Kali Yuga, this is happening in the beginning of Kali Yuga around 5,000 years ago. Once upon a time, in a holy place in the forest of Naimisharanya. Aranya means forest, and this forest is called Naimish. So Naimisharanya, the forest called Naimish. Great sages headed by Shaunak Rishi assembled to perform a great 1,000-year sacrifice. For what purpose? For the satisfaction of the Lord and his devotees. Naimishe Nimishak Kshetre Rishayah Shaunak Adayah Satram Swargaya Lokaya Sahasra Samam Asata. They were performing a 1,000-year sacrifice for the benefit of Lord of this world. And how the world is benefited? when Sri Hari is satisfied and the Vaishnavas are satisfied, the Supreme Lord and his devotees. When they are pleased, the whole world is benefited. Then what happened? So one important point that we can learn from the 4th verse is that the place is important. You see, the place is important. I'm going to give all of you the ability to unmute because I want to hear from all of you. But make sure once you answer, you mute yourself so that there is no background noise. Okay. So, Naimishe Nimisha Kshetre. Look at this. So, what this verse is emphasizing is the sages could have assembled in a city. The sages could have assembled in any place, but they assembled in a very holy place called Naimisharanya. According to our acharyas, this Naimisharanya is considered to be, in one sense, the center of the universe. So they were performing this yajna in the center of the universe for the benefit of the whole world. So place is important when it comes to our sadhana. Now I would like you all to raise your hand and tell me some other examples from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam or our Vedic literature where place has got importance in bhajan. Yes, Shraddha Mataji.
Krishna Prabhu, we see it in the battle of Kurukshetra where we are talking about Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre. So
Excellent.
That was an example that the battle will go in favor of those who are in favor of the religion.
Excellent, excellent point. Another example where the kshetra, the place is important. Kasturi Manjari Mataji.
Prabhuji, it will come up later in the Bhagavatam. Vyasadeva, when he meditated, when he was feeling dissatisfaction, and when Narad Muni instructed him to meditate on and then compose Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. At that time, he was on the bank of the river, and also Narad Muni, when his mother died, and when he was walking, and then he was meditating on the bank of the river, Prabhuji.
On the bank of river?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. I forgot the name.
Okay, no problem. So, Shanta Radhika Mataji.
In the case of Dhruv Maharaj, we can say when he was chastised by his mother, so
Yes.
he went to the jungle.
Very good. Which jungle?
Madhuvan.
Hari Bol. And where is Madhuvan?
It's one of the forests of Vrindavan.
Very good. Very good. Yes, thank you. Okay, so that's good. We'll have more questions. So you can lower your hands now. So this is the importance of kshetra, the sthan. Place has got very specific importance that we can learn from verse number 4. Let's go to verse number 5. One day, after finishing their morning duties, by burning a sacrificial fire and offering a seat of esteem to Srila Suta Goswami, the great sages made inquiries with great respect about the following matters. Paprachur idam adarat. Adarat means with great respect. And praprachur means they inquired. To ask questions, but respectfully, not in a challenging way. That is very important. When we approach Sri Guru, we have to ask questions in a very respectful way. Now, other important point here is whenever we ask questions, we should make sure that the respectable person who we are asking question is comfortable. Sometimes we see that a great devotee may be honoring prasad, is doing prasad seva, and we just go, we sit around the senior devotee and we start bombarding with questions. Hare Krishna. Now that senior devotee has just spoken Hari Katha or is about to speak Hari Katha, about to do Kirtan. Now little bit time he or she has got to do prasad seva. So we should let the devotee do prasad seva peacefully. Unless the devotee himself says that I want to talk to all of you. Do you have any questions? Let's talk. Then it's okay. But we should make sure that the person from whom we are inquiring is in a suitable place to answer our questions. That is important. So how they did it? They gave asinam, sutam asinam. They made Srila Suta Goswami comfortably sit on a vyasasana. And then they are asking questions. See, the small things are there for us to learn. So we should note them down. Verse number 6. Now, the sages headed by Shaunak Rishi are going to ask questions to Sri Suta Goswami. So what are they asking? Tvaya khalu puranani setihasani chanaga akhyapyan adhitani dharma shastrani yanuta. They are saying, my dear Suta Goswami, respected Suta Goswami, you are completely free from all vice. So quickly raise your hand and tell me, out of the 9 stages of bhakti, what stage is this where we are completely free from all vices? Hansa medley.
Anartha nivritti.
Anartha nivritti. Very good. Anartha nivritti. Very good. Adav Shraddha. Because of faith, we go into sadhu sangha. If we don't have faith, everybody please mute. If we don't have faith, we will not sit in sadhu sangha. We will not hear from the sadhus. To hear from sadhus, we need some faith. So Adav Shraddha, Tatha sadhu sangha. Then comes sadhu sangha. And because of sadhu sangha, we begin bhajan kriya. All of us have started chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra because of associating with Srila Prabhupada's books, Srila Prabhupada's lectures, and Srila Prabhupada's disciples and grand disciples and great grand disciples. Isn't it? So that is sadhu sangha. Because of sadhu sangha gives birth to our bhajana kriya, our devotional practices like chanting and hearing and reading. And because of bhajana kriya, we get purified. That is called anartha nivritti. And then other stages come, like firm faith, nishtha, then we get taste, ruchi, then we get strong attachment, asakti, then we start getting the semblance of prem called bhav, divine spiritual emotions, and finally there is prem. So the sages are telling Suta Goswami that you are completely free from vice. And what is the word they are using for this? Anagha. Agha means vice. Anagha means no vices. He has achieved anartha nivritti already. He is completely pure. Okay. What are the other qualities? Adhitani. The sages are inquiring from Suta Goswami not whimsically. Not because Suta Goswami is very handsome or because Suta Goswami has many followers on Facebook or social media. That is not the criteria to choose a guru. Choosing a guru is not a matter of popular opinion. Shri Guru must manifest certain divine qualities. So the sages are telling us that we are not accepting Suta Goswami as our captain, as our guru whimsically. He has got some great qualities. What is that quality? Adhitani, akhyatani. Akhyatani, adhitani. What does that mean? He is well versed in the scriptures and he has also explained the scriptures very nicely. So he knows, he has Shastra Yukti. He knows the Shastra and Akhyatani. He knows how to speak about them, how to explain them also. Sometimes one may know about the scriptures, but one may not be able to explain properly. And someone may be a good orator, but does not have knowledge. But they are telling us that Suta Goswami has both the qualities. He is a good speaker, good explainer, and he is also a proper knower. He knows in Tattva. He knows the Tattva Siddhanta. He knows the scriptural conclusions. So he is completely qualified to speak about all the Dharma Shastras, all the proper scriptures. Verse number 7. The sages continue to glorify. They are saying, being the eldest learned Vedantist, O Suta Goswami, you are acquainted with the knowledge of Vyasadeva. Because Suta Goswami was a disciple of Srila Shukadeva Goswami, and Shukadeva Goswami is the disciple of Sri Vyasadeva. So Suta Goswami is coming in line of Srila Vyasadeva. Now see, one very, very important point here. Please pay attention, my dear friends. Disciplic succession is not a matter of seminal descent. What is the meaning of seminal descent? Biological children born through semen. That is not the actual parampara. That is not the actual line. For example, Srila Prabhupada has his own biological children, but they are not the Acharya. Our Acharyas are our ISKCON Guru Varga. Why? Because they have inherited Srila Prabhupada's teachings, Srila Prabhupada's mood, Srila Prabhupada's mission, and they are serving the mission of Srila Prabhupada. So they are our gurus. Vyasadev's disciple was Romaharshana Sutta. And Romaharshana Sutta's seminal son is Suta Goswami. But here Suta Goswami's connection with Vyasadeva is not through his father. It is not through Romaharshana Sutta. Because Romaharshana Sutta was not an Acharya. He was a victim of pride and he was punished by Shri Balaramji. But the connection of Suta Goswami to Srila Vyasadeva is through Suta Goswami's Guru Maharaj, Shri Shukadev Goswami, who is a disciple and son both of Srila Vyasadeva. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is the son, biological son of the Acharya, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he's also the disciple. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as a child, as Bimala Prasad, he received his first Diksha, first initiation from his father, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He gave him a deity of Kurma Dev, a Kurma Shaligram Shila, initiated him in the Kurma Gayatri Mantra, gave him Naam also. Later on, he got Mantra Diksha from Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is both the biological son and spiritual son, disciple of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Similarly, Srila Shukadev Goswami is both the biological son and the spiritual son, disciple of Srila Vyasadeva. But Srila Suta Goswami's connection to Srila Vyasadeva is through Shukadev Goswami, spiritual master, rather than Romaharshana Suta, the biological father. I hope this concept is clear. That is our line. Our line is of Shiksha, not of semen. It is a line of Shiksha. So, O Suta Goswami, you are acquainted with the knowledge of Srila Vyasadeva. And who is Srila Vyasadeva? He is Bhagwan. He is an incarnation of Godhead. So, very important question when Mataji asked after the first class, day before yesterday's class. In that we saw that Mahamuni Krite, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is described as Mahamuni Krite. It is compiled by Mahamuni, Srila Vyasadeva. So the question is, that verse is written by Srila Vyasadeva. So Srila Vyasadeva is calling himself Mahamuni. How is that? That is not bewildering. Because he is simply stating the fact. We discussed, Muni is someone who doesn't talk any gossip. And Mahamuni is one who only speaks about Krishna. And therefore Srila Vyasadeva is Mahamuni. And he is Bhagwan. He is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Vyasadeva. So he's called Bhagwan. And for Bhagwan, these material contaminations like pride, arrogance, false ego, they don't apply. Because the Supreme Lord is beyond all this. For example, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate. Everything is coming from me. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. I am the Lord of all the planets. He says, Mataha parataram na anyad kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvamitam protam sutre manigana iva. There is no truth superior to me. So Krishna is saying all these things in Bhagavad Gita not out of arrogance or pride. He is not boasting. He is simply stating the facts. Arjuna is asking, Shishyasteham sadhimam tvam prapanam. Please answer my questions. Please instruct me. I am your disciple. So Krishna is saying, I am Bhagwan, I am this, I am that. He is simply stating the facts. There is no arrogance. Similarly, Srila Vyasadeva is saying, Mahamuni Krite, calling himself Mahamuni, is not an act of arrogance. He is simply stating the fact. pride, arrogance, false ego is not there in Bhagavan. Bhagavan is pure. What does Arjuna glorify Krishna in the 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita after hearing the Chatushloki Bhagavad Gita? Quickly raise your hand. Who knows the beautiful verse that Arjuna glorifies? Amrit Gaurangi Mataji, please go ahead.
Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Param Uttamam. That's the one, right, Prabhu?
Beautiful. Yes. So what is that word? Pavitram. Pavitram means what?
Pure.
Pure. So Krishna is pure. Bhagavan is pure. So these tendencies of boasting about oneself, pride, arrogance are not to be found in Bhagavan. He is Pavitram. Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Ādi Devam Ajam. He is Pavitra. Krishna. Krishna is so pure that simply by thinking of Krishna, we become pure. Who knows that verse? Raise your hand. Simply by thinking of Krishna, we become pure from within and without. We chanted before initiation ceremony. Yes, Swati Mataji?
Pavitram.
Yes. Om Pavitra Pavitrova
Sarvavastha Gatopiyam Iha Smarit Pundarikaksha Sabhaya Abhyantara Suchi.
Very good. Very good. So just by thinking, Yaha Smare Pundarikaksha, simply by thinking of the lotus-eyed Lord, we become pure from within and without. So there is no question of contamination. So here it is said, your incarnation of Godhead. And you also know other sages who are fully well-versed in all kinds of physical and metaphysical knowledge. So the important point in this verse number 7 is that eldest learned Vedantist. That Suta Goswami is the eldest learned Vedantist. And he knows knowledge of Vyasadeva and other sages like Parashar Muni, Shukadev Goswami. He knows their knowledge also. So that is very important. So similarly, our main Acharya is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being Gaudiya Vaishnavas. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's knowledge is expanded upon by other Acharyas like Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and other Acharyas. So we should know the knowledge given by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Shikshashtakam prayers, through Rupa Shiksha, Sanatan Shiksha, Rai Ramananda Samvad, Prakashananda Saraswati Samvad, Sarabhama Bhattacharya Samvad. Through all these teachings of Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Bhagavat, we should know the teachings of Mahaprabhu. But we should also know what Rupa Goswami has given, what Sanatan Goswami has given, what Srila Raghunath Das Goswami and other Acharyas have given. And finally, the essence of the teachings of all these Acharyas is coming to us through our Param Aradhya, Samsthapaka Acharya, founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, Shri Śrīmad Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada. So we should be well versed. We should read Acharya Vani. Very important to read and hear Acharya Vani, the teachings of our Acharyas. And Suta Goswami's qualification was that he had heard Acharya Vani. What other good qualities that Suta Goswami have? Let us see. And because you are submissive, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all the favors bestowed upon a gentle disciple. Therefore, you can tell us all that you have scientifically learned from them. So they are requesting Suta Goswami to become their guru. Now here one thing is there. Shrestho. One quality of Suta Goswami is he is Shrestha. He is the eldest learned Vedantist in the assembly, Suta Goswami. Now there are 4 categories of people. There are 4 Varnas: Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And they respect each other based on different categories. The Shudras mainly respect based on age. Whoever is elder is given respect. The Vaishyas respect based on money. Whoever has more money, they give more respect. Money is honey, my dear Sunny. The rich man's joke is always funny. So people get respect based on how much money they have. If somebody is very wealthy, they will get a comfortable seat to sit down in a meeting. There will never be shortage of chairs for a rich man. So the Vaishyas, they give respect based on money. The Kshatriyas give respect based on how much military strength and physical strength they have. Are you a Rathi? Are you a Maharathi? Are you a Atirathi? You have 1 Akshayhoni Sena, you have 2 Akshayhoni Sena. Kshatriyas give respect based on physical and military strength. Brahmanas give respect based on knowledge of the Vedas. Are you a Purohit? Are you a Mishra, Bhattacharya? Are you Dvivedi, Trivedi, Chaturvedi? What are you? Based on that, the Brahmanas give respect. Based on knowledge of the Shastra, knowledge of the scriptures, they give respect. So Shudras give respect based on age. Vaishyas give respect based on wealth. Kshatriyas give respect based on military strength and physical strength. Brahmanas give respect based on knowledge of the holy scriptures, Vedas. But Vaishnavas give respect based on all these categories. And most importantly, the number one criterion that Vaishnavas offer respect to each other is based on the level of spiritual advancement. So here he's Shrestha, he's eldest, and he's given respect for being elder. But that is not the predominating quality. His main qualities are described, that he had learned it in the line of Srila Vyasadeva, he had learned from other acharyas. He was very well learned, he was very good at explaining also. He was a good orator. And now in the next verse, verse 8, more qualities are described. Those are the main qualities why Suta Goswami is fit to sit on the Vyasasan and speak Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. But one quality is he is eldest. So we should respect based on age also. But the predominating criterion is we respect based on spiritual advancement. And what is the praman for that? Someone please raise your hand. Give an example where the youngest member of the assembly was asked to speak Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. The original speaker of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. What is the example? Yes, Kalindi Priti Mataji.
Sukadeva Goswami.
Yeah, Shukdeva Goswami, 16 years old. And he's sitting in front of people who are ageless, like Srila Vyasadeva, Vasishtha Muni, Vishwamitra Muni, and others. So very nice example. So all these criteria are there to give respect. Let's look at verse number 8. What are the qualities of Sri Suta Goswami that are described in this? You are submissive. What is the word used for submissive and malleable? Snigdhasya Shishyasya. O Suta Goswami, you are a very good disciple. Now please listen carefully what I'm about to say. This is very important. You can write this down. A good guru is a good disciple. Hare Krishna. Always remember this. A good guru is first of all a good disciple. To become a good guru, first one must be a first class disciple. Look at Suta Goswami. He's Snigdhasya Shishyasya. He's a disciple of Srila Shukdeva Goswami and he's a Snigdhasya Shishyasya. He's very malleable, very submissive to his Guru Varga. And he's Saumya. Look at his character, Saumya. He's very gentle in his behavior. He's not harsh or rude or arrogant in his behavior. He's very gentle. Srila Prabhupada said, you can know my disciples because they will be perfect gentlemen and ladies. And because you are submissive, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all the favors bestowed upon a gentle disciple. Therefore, you can tell us all that you have scientifically learned from them. Now quickly unmute yourself and tell us one example from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita where a Saumya and Snigdha disciple was given full mercy by the Guru and an arrogant and criticizing disciple was punished. Sandeep Prabhu.
Srila Ishwar Puri by Srila Madhavendra Puri.
Hari Bol. Yes. Sripad Madhavendra Puri. He had two disciples, Ishwar Puri and Ramchandra Puri. Ramchandra Puri was arrogant and he was criticizing. So he was rejected by Sripad Madhavendra. Madhavendra Puri said, don't show me your face, go away. And to Ishwar Puri, he blessed him with Krishna Prem. He said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will become your disciple. The same Prem that I'm experiencing in my heart, the Radha Bhav that I'm experiencing in my heart, that Mahaprabhu has come to give, you will experience that. He blessed Ishwar Puri because he was Snigdhasya Shishyasya and Saumya. So these are very important qualities. We should be gentle in our behavior, gentle and polite in our speech. Amanina manadena. We should give respect to others without expecting respect. And we should be submissive. Submissive means we should be willing to change our plans based on our Guru Maharaj. I'll tell you one very touching incident. A few years ago, His Holiness Prabodhananda Saraswati Maharaj had come to Atlanta. He's a disciple of Param Pujya Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And he personally told me, some of you were there, Swati Mataji, Sandeep Prabhu, Dilip Prabhu, you were there when he came to Atlanta. So he was telling, I was asking him about his, he lives in Vrindavan. I was asking him about his bhajan. And he was saying that for many years, he has been a brahmachari. He was a brahmachari in Krishna Balram Mandir, ISKCON Vrindavan. And he had 108 Shaligram Shilas, he told me. 108 Shaligram Shilas. And he said, all those years I was a brahmachari, I would worship my Shaligram Shilas every day. And I would cook for them personally in the brahmachari ashram. I would feed them. And only that prasad I would eat. For years I did that. I never ate anything else. Only what I personally cooked, offered to my 108 Shaligram Shilas, I would accept the remnants, the uchishta of Bhagwan. That's all I would eat. And then, after doing that bhajan for many years, my Guru Maharaj, Shri Śrīmad Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he ordered me that now I want you to travel. You give the service of your 108 Shaligram Shilas to other qualified devotees, and I want you to travel and preach. He said, when Guru Maharaj gave that order, now I'm traveling and preaching. And he's inspiring thousands and thousands of devotees all over the world. This is called Snigdhasya Shishyasya. We should be submissive to our spiritual master. We should do what our spiritual master wants. Srila Prabhupada gave up his family life, gave up his house, his comforts, everything. Even gave up his rooms in Radha Damodar Mandir in Seva Kunj Vrindavan, where he was having a comfortable retired life. He left everything, took such risk, and came to the foreign countries, Western world, all alone. Because Srila Prabhupada is a Snigdhasya Shishya. He's a very malleable, gentle, submissive disciple. And that is a quality. Remember, a good guru, first of all, is a first-class disciple. Verse number 9. Now, 9 to 23, all the questions are asked. So we will go a little rapidly now. All the questions are going to be asked. Verse number 9. So now Shaunak and other rishis, there are thousands of them. They are sitting in the holy place of Naimisharanya and they are asking a very qualified sadhu, Shri Suta Goswami, these questions. Verse number 9. Question 1. There are 6 questions they are going to ask. Question number 1 is verse number 9. Please, therefore, being blessed with many years, explain to us in an easily understandable way what you have ascertained to be the absolute and ultimate good for the people in general. What is the ultimate good for people in general? Please tell us this, answer this question. Isn't it a good question? What is the ultimate good? Absolute good for everyone, all people. Then verse number 10 is very important. The qualities of all of us are described in this verse. Qualities of people of Kali Yuga is described. This is a verse that is not in the memorization, but it is ideal if we can memorize this verse. Prayanalpayushya sabhya kalavasmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagya upadruta. Very important verse. Prayana means most of them, almost all. Praya, almost all. O learned one, O Suta Goswami, in this iron age of Kali, people almost always have Alpa Ayushya. Alpa Ayushya. They have short lives, 100 years or less. Previously, they used to live for thousands of years. Somebody is not on mute. Please mute yourself. People are quarrelsome. Kala Vasmin Yugejana. In Kali Yuga, people are quarrelsome. Kalaha means fighting, quarrel. Kalaha lati iti Kali. In Kali Yuga, people are victims of Kalaha. Always quarrel. There is World War I, there is World War II, there is Korean War, there is Vietnam War, there is Kuwait War, there is Iraq War, there is Afghan War, there is India-China War, there is India-Pakistan War, there is Israel-Palestine War, now there is Ukraine and Russia War. Always there are wars. Always there are terrorist attacks. Always fighting. Political parties are fighting. You see all these election campaigns. What are election campaigns? They are nothing but criticizing each other. If you have heard presidential election debates, what are these presidential debates? They are simply fault finding. How to do each other's ninda. How to criticize and find faults in each other. So this is Kalaha. Kalaha lati iti Kali. Kali Yuga is an age of quarrel. So kalavasmin yuge jana, how are people? They are manda. The manda means they are very lazy and they are less intelligent. Okay, less intelligent, they may be less intelligent, but what if they get good advisors? Then even less intelligent person can become intelligent by good advisors. No, but they are sumanda matayo. They will not find good advisors. They will not find good advisors. They will find yes men who will just encourage them to do what is wrong. Very difficult to find good advisors. So sumanda matayo. They will not even have good advisors. Okay? And they will be manda bhagya. They will be unfortunate. And they will be upadhruta. Always there will be disturbances. COVID-19 pandemic is not even over yet, and there is Ukraine and Russia war. Just see. So much problem. Now there is threat of chemical warfare, nuclear warfare. So much tension. Always disturbance. So this is the hallmark of Kali Yuga. There will be fighting. People will be hypocrites. They will be lazy, but they will pretend themselves to be very intelligent. They will be manda. They will need all these memory drives and flash drives and external hard drives to store because there is no memory. Suta Goswami was not sitting with Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. He was speaking from memory. So was Srila Shukdev Goswami because they were very intelligent. Sumedhasa. But we are so less intelligent now that we need all these gadgets. So we are manda. We have no good advisor. Sumanda matayo, manda bhagya upadata. Always disturbance. Unlucky. There will be tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, volcanoes. So all that is going on in Kali Yuga. These are all symptoms of Kali Yuga. It is unavoidable. It's not a question of why all this is happening. The question is when it is going to happen. Disturbances will come all the time, one after the other. Always disturbance. So that is the nature of Kali Yuga described in verse number 10. Now verse number 11. The second question is asked in verse number 11. There are many varieties of scriptures. Tarko pratishtha shrutayo vibhinna nasha vrishiriyasya matam na bhinnam dharmasya tatvam nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gata sapanta. Tarko apratishtha. We cannot establish anything by tarka, by dry arguments. Why? Because shrutayo vibhinna. Scriptures are of different types. If someone wants to prove that Lord Shankar is Supreme Personality of Godhead, they can find Praman from Shiva Purana. If someone wants to prove that Durga Devi is Supreme, they can find Shastric reference. Whatever we want, some scripture we can extract something and try to prove our point. Because scriptures are of different types and they are meant to cater to different levels of spiritualists. Just like there are textbooks that deal with first grade. There are textbooks that deal with 10th grade. There are textbooks that deal with master's course, isn't it? So in a 12th grade mathematics textbooks, there may be calculus, pre-calculus. Now, what if a 4th grader says, I don't believe in calculus and pre-calculus, because if pre-calculus and calculus existed, my holy mathematics textbooks of 4th grade would have mentioned something about it. People say like that. Once a person told me, if Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, in our religious scriptures, his name should have been mentioned, but it is not mentioned. So I don't believe. Hare Krishna. So that is a very weak argument. That is not a very logical. That's like saying in the 4th standard mathematics textbooks, calculus is not mentioned, so calculus doesn't exist. It's not like that. It depends on the audience. In the scriptures of other religions, it's clearly mentioned that there is so much I want to give you, but you are not ready to hear. Whereas in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Yad Jnatva Neha Bhuyo Anyaj Natevam Avashishyate. Oh Arjun, after knowing this, nothing more shall remain for you to know. Because Arjun was such a high-class, evolved, cultured person. So this point I like to make again and again. It's very important. So there are many varieties of scriptures. And in all of them, there are many different prescribed duties, which can be learned only after many years of study in various divisions. Therefore, O Suta Goswami, please select the essence of all these scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings. That by such instruction, their hearts may become fully satisfied. Ye Atma Suprasidati. The heart should become satisfied. There should not be dissatisfaction. So first question was that what is the ultimate good for people in general? Second question is in verse number 11 that we are reading. And what is that? What is the essence of all the scriptures for the good of all living beings? There are many scriptures. What is the essence? Please explain it for the good of all living beings. Not for a good of one particular cult of people, for everyone. Therefore, Bhagavad Dharma, Srila Prabhupada would always say, it is not a sectarian religion. It is for everyone. Okay. Verse number 12. Now, third question comes. Suta janasi bhadram te bhagavan satvatam patihi devakyam vasudevasya jato yasya chikirshaya. All blessings upon you, O Suta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of God had appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva. The son of Devaki and Vasudeva Maharaj is Devaki Nandan Krishna or Vasudeva Krishna. So please tell us, why did Krishna appear as the son of Devaki and Vasudeva? This is the third question. Why did Krishna appear? Please tell us. You know it. Please tell us. Nice questions, huh? 6 questions. Verse number 13. In verse number 13, they are expressing their eagerness to hear. Because for a speaker to feel enthusiastic, there should be eagerness in the audience, isn't it? So that they're expressing. O Suta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead. We are eager to learn about personality of Godhead. And also his incarnations. Yasyavataro. The different incarnations of Krishna. We want to hear about Krishna and Krishna's incarnation. So this refers to, personality of Godhead refers to Krishna, because in the previous verse, it is clearly said, Devakyam Vasudevasya Jato. So Krishna and Krishna's different avatars. So verse number 13, they are saying, we are eager to hear. Shushrusha Mananam. We are very eager to hear about Krishna and Krishna's incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by previous masters, previous acharyas. For one is uplifted both by speaking and by hearing. So one who speaks Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and one who hears Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, both get purified. Both are uplifted. Both are uplifted. So this is the important teaching of Bhavaya, means uplifted. Everybody is uplifted. Anyone who comes in contact with Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is uplifted with Krishna Katha. Verse number 14. Verse number 14 is very important. Apanna samsmritim ghoram yannama vivasho grinan tata sadyo vimuccheta yadbhibeti swayam bhayam. Yadbhibeti swayam bhavam. Swayam bhayam. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even yan nama vivasho grinan. Even unknowingly chanting the holy name of Krishna, a person is immediately freed from the repeated cycle of birth and death. Apanna samsritim ghoram. Immediately freed by chanting the name of Krishna. And what is the special quality of Krishna Naam? Yat bibheti swayam bhayam. Even bhayam, even fear is afraid. Even fear is afraid of Krishna Naam. Mad bhayad vati vatoyam. Mrutyus charati mad bhayad. This verse will come in the 3rd canto. Kapil Dev says that wind is blowing because of me. The sun is giving light because of fear of me. Even mrutyus charati mad bhayad. Even death is going around out of fear of me. So this is the glory of chanting of holy name. So now quickly, my dear friends, unmute and give some examples of how someone was released from fear by chanting Krishna Naam. How a devotee was freed from fear. Yes, Archana Bhakti Mataji.
Ajamil Prabhuji.
Exactly. Such a great example. Ajamil. Very nice example. Thank you. Verse number 15. Yes, Prahlad Maharaj, Gajendra. Very beautiful examples. Verse number 15. So after describing the holy name of Krishna, we want to hear about Krishna because Krishna's name is so powerful. O Suta Goswami, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them. whereas the waters of the Ganga can sanctify only after prolonged use. For Ganga to purify, one has to go to Ganga. One has to take darshan of Ganga. One has to bow down to Ganga. One has to do achaman with Ganga Jal, or one has to take bath in Ganga. Only by coming in contact can Ganga punanti. It can purify us. But the sadhus, the devotees of Krishna, who have taken shelter at Krishna's lotus feet, they can sanctify everyone simply by coming in contact with them. Whereas Ganga, prolonged use. After prolonged use, it purifies. That is the difference between Ganga Devi and a pure devotee. Ganga Devi is most glorious, but pure devotee is even more merciful. Now, I would like to ask one question. Can someone quote from Srila Narottam Das Thakur this Praman? Yes, Sandeep Prabhu.
Gangara parasha hoilo paschate pavan darshane pavitra karo ei tomara gun.
Yes, very beautiful verse. Gangara sparasha hoile paschate pavan. After touching Ganga Jal, one becomes purified. After taking bath in Ganga, doing achaman with Ganga Jal, sprinkling Ganga Jal on one's head, one becomes purified. But darshane pavitra karo ei tomar guna. One may see Prabhupada sitting on the Vyasasana, and there are 20,000-30,000 devotees in the Pandal festival. Simply by seeing a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, darshane pavitra karo ei tomar guna. Simply by taking darshan of a pure devotee, one becomes purified. Ganga does not come to Atlanta. I like to give this example. Ganga does not come to Atlanta, but Srila Prabhupada came to Atlanta in 1975. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is more merciful than Ganga Devi. And Ganga Devi is very happy to hear this glorification of a very pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. Our scriptures are saying, our acharyas are saying, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is saying, Srila Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Gangara sparasha hoile paschate pavana darshane pavitra karo ei tomar guna. Verse number 16. So, in the previous verse, verse number 14, quickly one of you unmute and tell. Verse number 14, what tattva was glorified?
Holy name.
Nam tattva. Very good, holy name. In verse number 15, what tattva was glorified?
Pure devotee.
Vaishnava Tattva.
Vaishnava, Bhakta tattva. Bhakta tattva. Very good. Okay, very good. Now let's see verse number 16. Who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of Kali, age of coral? Kalaha means Kali. Who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord? So the Lord is so merciful. His name is so merciful. His devotees are so merciful, so glorious. So who would not want to hear about Krishna? The sages are saying. It's a rhetorical question. Who would not like to hear? Yes, of course, everyone would like to hear. Verse number 17. So 3 questions are done. First question was, what is the ultimate good for everyone? Second question was, what is the essence of all the different types of scriptures for the good of everyone? Third question, why did Krishna appear in this world? Now, fourth question is in verse number 17. His transcendental acts are magnificent and gracious. Udarani karmani, udara charitra. Krishna is very magnanimous, very glorious, magnificent character. And great learned sages like Narada Muni sing. So Narada Muni is the Param Guru. He is the Gurudev of Srila Vyasadeva. Vyasadev's disciple is Shukdev Goswami, and Shukdev Goswami's disciple is Suta Goswami. So they are glorifying the Sampradaya Acharya. Even Narada Muni is singing the glories of Bhagwan. Please therefore speak to us. We are eager to hear. Please speak to us about the adventures that Krishna performs in his various incarnations. Leelaya dadata kala. Kala means the different amshas, different incarnations that perform different leelas. We want to hear about the Purusha avatars, the different incarnations of Krishna, his great adventures we want to hear. We want to hear Krishna Katha, Leela Katha. Verse number 18. Fifth question is asked. So according to Jiva Goswami, in the 17th verse, the katha that they want to hear about Krishna is Purusha Katha. Now, someone quickly raise your hand. Who are the different Purusha avatars? Do you know? Raise your hand quickly. Okay. Sham Kishori Mataji. Shama Kishori Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, Shirodakshayi Vishnu.
Very good. These are very good, Shama Kishori Mataji. These are three Purushas. Karanadakshayi Vishnu, also called as Mahavishnu, who breathes out all the universes. Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, who lays down in each of the Brahma Anda, in the egg-like shell of each universe, in his own perspiration. That is Garbhodakshayi Vishnu. And from his navel comes a lotus, on which Brahmaji takes birth. And then Brahmaji creates the universe. And in every atom of that universe, the Lord enters. And that is the third Purusha, Shirodakshayi Vishnu. And again, in that universe, there is a specific Shvetadvip planet where Kshirodakshayi Vishnu lays down again on the ocean of milk, Kshira Sagar. So Shirodakshayi Vishnu, Garbhodakshayi Vishnu, and Karanadakshayi Vishnu. Three Purushas. So, according to Jiva Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami, 17th verse refers to tell us the adventures and activities of the Purusha avatars. Now, verse number 18, fifth question. Athakhya hi harer dhiman avatar katha shubha leela vidadhatah swairam Ishwarasyatma Mayaya. O wise Suta Goswami, please narrate to us the transcendental pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's multiple incarnations. So this refers to the different Leela avatars. Leela avatars. They are the Swamsha avatars of Krishna. They are the expansions of Krishna's own body. These different Leela avatars. So there are Vibhinnamsha, we are Vibhinnamsha. These are all Amsha. Etecha Amsha Kala Pumsa Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. All these are ultimately Amsha, parts of Krishna. We are also parts of Krishna. Mama Amsha, Jiva Loka Jiva Huta Sanatana. But we are Vibhinna Amsha. We are separated parts. Parts and parcel. Parcel means separate. Prabhupada used English words very accurately. We are parts of Krishna, but we are not one with Krishna. We are parcel. Parcel means we are packed away, separate. So we are parts and parcel of Krishna. But then there are Krishna's direct expansions called Swamsha. There are Vibhinnamsha, that is Jiva Tattva, and there is Swamsha, Vishnu Tattva. So all the Leela avatars are Swa-amsha. They are Krishna's own incarnations. So, O Suta Goswami, we want to hear the transcendental pastimes. Avatara Katha, Shubha. The auspicious activities of all the avatars of Krishna. Leela. We want to know about the Leela avatars of Ishwarasya. Supreme Lord's avatars. We want to hear. This is the fifth question, verse number 18. Such auspicious adventures and pastimes of the Lord, the Supreme Controller, Isha means Supreme Controller, are what? Are performed by his internal powers. Krishna performs his activities under his internal powers, internal potency. Can someone quickly raise your hand who knows the verse, the first verse of the Ras Leela chapter, where it is said that Krishna performed Ras Leela under his Yogamaya potency. Yogamaya Upashyata. Who knows that verse? Raise your hand. Bhagavan api taratri sharadotpulla mallika viksharantu manachakre yogamaya upashritaha. All these activities are performed under Yogamaya, internal potency. They are spiritual activities. Vishuddha Sattva. Verse number 19. This is a very, very important verse. Very important verse. Vayam tu na vitripyama uttama shloka vikrame yachranvatam rasatnyanam swadu swadu pade pade. The sages are telling, Shaunak Adi Rishis are telling Sri Suta Goswami, we never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of Bhagavan, personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with him relish hearing of his pastimes at every moment. Swadu swadu pade pade. Every step there is great relish in hearing and speaking the Krishna Katha, Krishna Naam. Aho aho bir nakaler viduyate sudha sudhara madhuram pade pade dine dine chandana chandra shitalam Yasho Yashoda Tanayasya Giyate Madhuram Madhurebhyopi Mangalebhyopi Mangalam Pavanam Pavanebhyopi Harer Namaeva Kevalam. Krishna Leela, Krishna Naam, very, very sweet at every step. Ananda Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purna Amrita Aswadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. So we want to hear, there is no satiation. We want to hear more and more. Verse number 20. Lord Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balram, Ram, played like a human being, and so he performed many superhuman acts. In the form of human beings, they performed so many leelas, beautiful pastimes. Naravat leela. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashrita param bhavam ajananto mamavyayam anuttamam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that fools do not understand. When I come in a human-like form, they mistake me to be an ordinary human being. But actually, I am anuttam, avyayam. I am inexhaustible. I am supremely pure. I am the best, Purushottam. Kritavan kila karmani saha ramena keshavaha ati martyani Bhagavan Gudha Kapata Manushaha. He came in a disguised form as ordinary human being, Naravat Leela, as if human beings, but actually he is Bhagwan. He is Bhagwan. He is Bhagwan. He performed so many Leelas along with Ram. Saha Ramena, who performed Leela? Keshava, Krishna. Keshava and Ram. Krishna and Ram, they performed different Leelas. I want to know, we want to hear about those Leelas that Krishna performed. Superhuman acts. Martyani means human. Martyani means human acts. Ati Martyani means superhuman acts of Bhagavan. So they performed superhuman acts. Ati Martyani. We want to hear the superhuman, extraordinary activities of Bhagavan, lifting Govardhan at the age of 7. Haribol. Expanding himself into millions of forms and dancing with millions of Rajagopis on the Sharat Purnima night in Ras Leela. We want to hear about all this. Sages are saying. Verse number 21. Knowing well that the age of Kali has already begun, we are assembled here in this holy place to hear at great length the transcendental message of Godhead. And in this way, we want to perform a sacrifice. So hearing Bhagavatam is also a yajna. We want to perform this sacrifice. We are all devotees. We want to hear about Krishna. So it's a very great sacrifice to sit and hear. Yajna. Japa is also yajna. Sankirtan is also yajna. And this is also Sankirtan. When we hear Krishna Katha Bhagavatam class, that is Sankirtan. Because Sang means in a Sangha, coming together. And Kirtan means Kirti, to glorify. We can glorify Krishna by speaking Krishna Katha from Śrīmad Bhagavatam. Or we can glorify with chanting of the Naam, by chanting the name. That is also glorification. So there can be Naam Kirtan, there can be Leela Kirtan, Katha Kirtan, like that. We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavana Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. We have met you by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as the captain of the Karnadhar. Captain. You are the captain of the ship of our life. And you will help us cross the difficult ocean of Kali. Kaler dosha nidhe Rajan. This Kaliyug nidhi means ocean. Kaler dosha nidhe. But this is not an ocean of sweet water or salt water. This is the ocean of faults. Kaliyug. And we have to cross beyond the ocean of fault. Kaler dosha nidhe Rajan. Astiyo eka mahan guna. Kirtana deva Krishnasya mukta sangha param rajet. There are so many bad qualities in Kaliyug, but there is one good quality. If we take shelter of Krishna Naam, Krishna Katha. Kirtana deva Krishnasya means Krishna Naam and Krishna Katha. Kirti. Bhagwan ki Kirti gao. Kirtana deva Krishnasya mukta sangha param rajit. We have our Mukta Sangha Prabhu here. So yes, Mukta Sangha Param Rajit. We can go to Vraj, the supreme abode, just by doing Krishna Kirtan. It is a great fortune that we have met you, my dear Suta Goswami, the sages are saying. We accept you as the captain of our ship. This is very important. We must accept Guru as Karnadhar. Karnadhar has two meanings. Karnadhar means captain, and Karnadhar also means one who holds our ear to chastise us. Karna means ear, Dhar means to hold. A Guru has the right to hold our ear and punish us, chastise us. We must be willing to be chastised by Shri Guru. and they're accepting Suta Goswami as the Karanadhar. Please help us in this Kali Yuga, because Kalim Sattva Haram Pumsa. Very important phrase. In Kali Yuga, Sattva Haram. Kali Yuga takes away, steals away all the good qualities. So please save us. We need a captain like you, a pure devotee. And last verse of this chapter, verse number 23, where the sixth question is asked. The final question. Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmanye Dharma Varmani Swam Kashtham Adhunopete Dharmakam Sharanam Gataha. Since Shri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us, this is the sixth question, please tell us to whom dharma, the religious principles, have gone for shelter. Dharma kam sharanam gataha. This is the question. Dharma kam sharanam gataha. Whose shelter has dharma taken? Now that Dharma Gopta, the protector of dharma, Krishna, has gone away. Where has dharma taken shelter? This is the sixth and the final question. And thus the chapter ends. So now on Tuesday in America, which will be Wednesday morning in India, we will continue with the second chapter. All these questions will be one by one answered. So dear devotees, I will stop here. If there are any questions, you may please raise your hand. Divya Mataji, you have raised your hand. You want to ask a question? Okay. If not, then Shama Kishori Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji, is your name Sham Kishori or Shama Kishori?
Shama
Shama
Prabhuji.
Kishori. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Shama
Thank
Kishori.
you. Thank you for the wonderful class, Prabhuji. My question is about the verses. Are we recording even the translations?
No, just the Sanskrit.
And it has to be a video, right? Not just an audio.
Yes, video. But we just realized that if everyone sends their video recording, then the Google Drive will get overwhelmed. The capacity will get over. So Mukta Sangha Prabhu, I don't know anything about technology. I am technologically handicapped. So Mukta Sangha Prabhu is trying to figure out how we can do something, find a solution. So I will update on the, so just hold on, don't send in recordings yet. I will let you know how to do it.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. And I have still not received my result of TTC, so I am still waiting, but I will keep you all updated. Hare Krishna. So now we have Sharanagat Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. My question is very naive. I mean, I'm hesitating to actually ask, but some of the verses like verse number 13 and 20 also, I mean, 13 particularly, I thought like that is also one of the questions. So where it is mentioned that only 6 questions are asked, because it's in the translation, it is not given that 6 questions asked. It is like the purports are saying 6 questions asked.
So our acharyas have extracted these 6 questions from the conversation between Suta Goswami and Shaunakadi Rishis. So they have analyzed and they have said that in this conversation, essentially 6 questions are asked. And they have enumerated those 6 questions. So like that, the acharyas have done that.
Okay.
After examining the conversation, they are saying, well, in essence, in this conversation, there are 6 questions. And they have extracted those 6 questions. And then they will point out how in the second chapter and the subsequent chapters, all those 6 questions are eventually answered.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. You're welcome. Then we have Navita Bahel Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Very nice class, Prabhuji. I have a question regarding the question number 4th. I didn't get it. The question number 4th and 5th looks me the same. Krishna Lila and Lila Avatars.
Correct. So yes, it is a little confusing. So 4th question is, tell us about the activities of the Purusha avatars. What does Karanadaksha, what does Mahavishnu do? What does Garbhodakshay Vishnu do? What does Shirodakshay Vishnu do? That is the 4th question. 5th question is, tell us the pastimes of the Leela avatars. That is the 5th question. Leela avatars are avatars like Shri Narasimhadev, Shri Ramachandra. So all that will be discussed. Narasimhadev is discussed in 7th canto. Shri Ramachandra is described in the 9th canto. Like that, all these Leela avatars will be described. Shri Varahadev will be described, Shri Narsimhadev, like that. Is that okay?
Thank you, Prabhuji. One more follow-on question. Like all the 3 shlokas has to be recited one time, or can I do, because I am very I don't know any shloka recitation for Bhagavatam. So it's going to take time for me. So can I do one by one, or we have to do all 3?
Absolutely. You can do one by one. The whole idea is to encourage us to recite and memorize these verses, because we will make spiritual advancement. The whole purpose of this Bhakti Vaibhava course is to become mad for Krishna. We are studying Śrīmad Bhagavatam to get Krishna Prem. We don't want any certificate. We don't want any recognition or prestige. Srila Prabhupada has given Anurag Marg. This is a path of Anurag, path of love. We are looking for Krishna Prem. And Śrīmad Bhagavatam is Krishna Prem personified. Mahaprabhu used to go mad. He would read Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj's pastimes 100 times. One after, again and again and again and again. Swadu Swadu Pade Pade. And then, so this is the path that we want to follow. We want to develop taste for Śrīmad. We want to develop love for Krishna. So by reciting these verses have special power, potency, and we will get Krishna Prem if we recite these verses. Swadhyaya abhyasanam chaiva vangmayam tapa uchyate. We discussed the perfection of speech is to repeat Vedic verses. So that's why we are doing it. So don't take any stress. You can do one verse at a time. The whole idea is to absorb ourselves in the words, Shabda Brahma, the words of Śrīmad Bhagavatam.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. You're welcome. So then we have Shraddha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. So my question is, we know that Bhagavatam is written by Srila Vyasadeva, but here we know that Shukadev Goswami has already spoken it, and Suta Goswami has heard it, and now he's come to Naimisharanya. So clearly chapter 1 is not the part of the Bhagavatam that Ved Vyas wrote.
It is. I'll explain to you. This is very, I'll explain. It's a little subtle. So Srila Vyasadeva compiled Śrīmad Bhagavatam after getting inspiration from Shripad Narad Muni. He verbally taught it to Shukdev Goswami. Shukdev Goswami verbally taught it to Parishit Maharaj and Suta Goswami and others. Suta Goswami verbally taught it to Shaunak and other rishis. After this history happened, Srila Vyasadeva sat down and he physically wrote down Bhagavatam. Clear?
Absolutely, Prabhuji. I was always confused that who must have written these chapters. So now it makes all sense. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Because Vyasadeva is present even today. So he wrote it later. Hare Krishna. After that we have Anandamayi Krishna Mataji. Anandamaya Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, this morning you had sent the 30 questions on the WhatsApp chat. Prabhu, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So this morning, Prabhu, you had posted about 30 questions in the WhatsApp group and saying that these are the closed book questions. So is this covering the entire first module, or there are more to come?
It is only first 9 chapters. Only first 9 chapters. But see, don't worry about it. I will send everything later on. Some devotees messaged me privately and they said, we want to start preparing. So I just sent some sample questions. Those are for the first 9 chapters of Śrīmad Bhagavatam. So those are the closed book questions. And there are questions for open book exam also. But don't worry about it. I will send everything. Because see, I'm still waiting for my result about TTC. Once I get my result, I will get my access to Mayapur Institute's website, where I have to manually enter the devotees who have registered, and I will get the curriculum from Mayapur Institute. So just bear with me. I will give everything. If I have a PDF of all the questions, I will share it, but just give me some more time.
No problem, Prabhu. There was nothing to be done with it, right now?
No, nothing. Some devotees want to start preparing. So just some questions are there. You can go through them.
I looked through the questions, but thank you, Prabhu.
That's all. Hare Krishna. Yes. Shyam Chandra Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Prabhu.
My Dandavat Pranams to you. Thank you for your wonderful session today. Very, enlightening and enriching. Prabhu, my question was in relation to the question bank only, the questions that was sent by you, those 30 questions. So in that, question 6 of section 2 and question 4 of section 3 appear to be same. So I just thought I will check with you on that, and then whether there is any different explanation to be given in the answers for that. But the question appears to be exactly the same.
Acha, let me see. I'm opening it up right now.
Yeah.
So
the question is, how did Vyasadeva pacify and encourage the Pandavas?
Which questions can you tell me again?
Question 6 of section 2 and question 4 of section 3.
Okay. So question 6 of section 2, how did Bhishmadev pacify and encourage the Pandavas? Write important comments by Srila Prabhupada in the purports.
Yeah.
And then
question 4 of section 3.
How did Bhishmadev pacify and encourage the Pandavas? Yes, it is same. Yeah.
So probably the same explanation we need to give in that also, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I think it's just repeated. Yeah. Looks like it's repeated.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Shamchandra Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Ananda Sindhu Nitai Prabhuji. One second. Prabhu, I think you have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
So I have a question on text 22. Prabhu says like after accepting you as a captain to cross the ocean, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being. So it means it's going beyond the Suddha Tattva. Talking about that.
No, they are saying that this ocean of Kali Yuga, which deteriorates all the good qualities. Kali Yuga deteriorates the good qualities of people.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Is that making sense?
Yes, Prabhu.
It is Kali Yuga that deteriorates the good qualities of people. Kalim Sattva Haram Pumsam. Sattva Haram. All the good qualities are stolen away by Kali Yuga. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you. And Archana Bhakti Mataji, you want to ask a question?
Prabhuji, just about the question about the second section and third section. I had actually attempted Bhakti Vaibhava in the past and I had taken an exam. So it is based on the marks, Prabhuji. You have section 1, section 2 and section 3. So section 3 is like an essay type of question. There's more marks. So even if it's the same question, you're expected to give an elaborate answer for the third section and not so elaborate for the second section. And the first section is really short answers.
Oh, okay. So that was in response to His Grace Shamchandra Prabhu's query. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for that clarification, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you. Anandmaya Krishna Prabhu, you have one more question?
I forgot to lower my hand, Prabhu.
Oh, okay. Forgot to lower your hand. Okay. So thank you, dear devotees. If there are no more questions, then we can stop. Let me just check the chat box real quick. Vinit Prabhu has asked a question. Is Suta Goswami not liberated? Is he at the level of Anartha Nivritti? Then how are the sages sure that he is giving the essence? No. Suta Goswami is a pure devotee. Suta Goswami is a pure devotee. He is on the platform of Krishna Prem. He is a perfect Mahabhagavat. But to glorify him, they are saying that you are completely pure. You don't have any trace of Anartha. Like that. Is that okay? Vinit Prabhu? He's a pure devotee.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah. Then we have His Grace Ajay Govinda Prabhu. So Śrīmad Bhāgavatam 1.1.1 question 1. What is good? Also, you have enumerated the 6 questions. Thank you, Prabhuji. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. So if there are no more questions, we will conclude our session. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari. Thank you very much.